Raise your hand if you have trouble building or maintaining habits. Building habits has been a lifelong struggle. I used to think that it was all about brute force. I'm gonna will myself to do this. I'm gonna force myself. Time and time again, I would find that I would push and I would do okay, and then I would burn out because I was spending all of my willpower and I would fail. And I would get discouraged and I would stop trying for a few months or maybe a year. And then I would try again. That pattern has been something I've been trying to overcome for a long time, and I finally am starting to feel like I'm getting my feet under me a little bit. James Clear is a habits expert, and he's also the author of Atomic Habits, which you should definitely go and check out. And he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And this sounds kind of pessimistic, but it's actually kind of encouraging. It's not about how hard you can push toward your goals, but it's really about how strong your systems are, how strong your process is for reaching those goals. At the beginning of the year, this is 2019, I joined a challenge called Habits of Excellence put on by Levi Allen, who is a filmmaker, an amazing guy. And through the process of doing this challenge and some of the other things I've learned from people like James Clear, from other experts on habits, I've learned some things that I want to share with you. These are my 7 tips for building and maintaining habits. Oh, hey, Sean.
Oh, hey, you're in my house.
Yeah.
How'd you get in?
Somebody let myself in.
Make yourself at home?
I will. There was already coffee for me, so.
Oh, okay. I guess we weren't expecting you.
Hey, Sean, can you help me film something?
I got you.
All right. Come with me. Is it okay if I move this?
Yeah.
Tip number 1 is the 3 P's of accountability. And this is actually something that I learned from Sean, who is holding the camera. 3 P's of accountability. 1, public. 2, partner. 3, personal. Is that right?
You got it.
Did I get the 3 correct?
Public, partner, and personal accountability.
Public is just putting it out there. And I did this in 2 ways. I have a man maker challenge that I did, and I actually started a Facebook group. I've been sharing about that publicly. Since I put it out there, I don't know exactly who all's watching, but I know that there are people out there somewhere who are keeping track of whether or not I'm fulfilling my 10,000 man makers. Another thing I did was the Habits of Excellence challenge. And the way this works is you post about it online and you put this hashtag. And so everybody who's participating gets to search this hashtag and see that you're keeping up with your habits. I got to follow other people and see that they were keeping up with theirs. And so this was a great way to get public accountability. Partner is with another person or another small group of people. I actually have what's called a habit club with some friends, and this is a club where you have to do your habits and you share it with the group, and if you don't, they send someone to come beat you up. No, that was terrible. I shouldn't say that. But it's just a small group of people who are encouraging and challenging, and when they notice that I haven't been keeping up with my habits, they ask me about it, and I know they're going to do that. So that helps a lot. And then I also am in another club called the 3 Ring Club, and that's for activities on the watch. You see the 3 rings? I have to close those rings every single day if I want to stay in the club. And so it's just a good, having this partner accountability is just another layer of accountability that helps me stay motivated and focused on my goals. And then finally, and this is one that I think is probably the most important, personal accountability. So what are you doing? How are you keeping up with your habits and tracking them and tracking your progress? And so I do this in a couple of different ways. Sean has this thing called the 5 Habit Tracker, and I'm gonna link to this because you definitely have to check this out. This is a great way to keep up with just a handful of habits. I use an app called Streaks, and there's another app that I use with the accountability group that I'm in called Habit Share. And so Streaks and Habit Share are really similar. They're apps that you can use on your phone. It just allows you to keep up with your habits on an app and gives you your progress, your percentage score, all of that. And then habit share lets you do that with other people. So that's really cool. These are the 3 P's of accountability. One of the most important things you can do to help you get success in your habits is getting some accountability, having other people be a part of this with you who can encourage you and challenge you and push you forward toward your goals. Hey, thanks for your help, Sean.
You bet, man.
I will see you later. Hey, Lacey, thanks for the coffee. Tip number 2 is culture. You want to immerse yourself in a culture where the habit you want to build is normal or the habit you want to quit is abnormal. Let me tell you a little story. When I first got my Apple Watch, it was actually given to me as a gift by my friend Sean. He showed me how the rings worked, with the activities. If you don't know what those are, the rings basically track specific activities throughout the day, like standing, exercise, or how many calories you burn. He showed me on his phone that he had closed all 3 of his rings, which means he completed all 3 activities every day for like a month. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, I guess that's just a thing you do. And that's one of the main reasons we started Habit Club, because we saw the power of the culture around closing the 3 rings every day. Like that was just a thing you did. And so we wanted to apply that same kind of culture and mindset to building other habits. And that's the power of the Habits of Excellence Challenge. There were so many people who were involved, and it was just a normal thing to keep up with your habits and to post and share. So get involved in a culture that makes the habits you want to build normal. Oh, hey, I'm home now, so I'm gonna get out. Tip number 3 is make sure your habit has a time or a place. You're more likely to complete your habit if it actually falls somewhere in your routine where you're expecting it and there's a place where you're actually going to do it. One of the habits I tracked for the Habits of Excellence was how many calories I was eating throughout the day, and I was trying to stay within a certain calorie limit. My time and place for tracking my calories is right before I eat. I just take a few seconds and I go on my app where I can track my calories, and I put in whatever I'm eating, and I do that before I eat, and then I know, okay, I'm still staying within my calorie limit and I'm good to go. You want to taste? Yeah. Is it good? Am I gonna like it? Tip number 4 is you want to connect with the goal of your habit, because a habit is really just something that you use, a vehicle to get you to your goal. A lot of times what I do is I use visualization. I imagine a future version of myself that has consistently stuck with this habit and who I want to be. Because really when it comes down to it, the best way to think about it is not a habit is something you do, but a habit is a natural behavior or activity that flows out of who you are or who you want to be. Who are you a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, if you stick with your habit? Think about that. Keep that in the forefront of your mind. I wanted to show you a little example here. Got me. There's me. All right. Oh. Hey, how's it going? I haven't had abs like that since... I haven't ever had abs like that. Look at those abs. James Clear says something that really sticks with me, and I'm gonna kind of paraphrase it a little bit, but every time you execute on a habit, it's a vote. It's like you casting a ballot for a future version of yourself. It's not about, am I gonna complete the habit today, and being down on yourself if you don't, but it's really about how many votes do I wanna cast for the person I want to be in the future. All right, it's time for me to go meet a buddy for lunch. Parking lot looks kind of empty. Hey!
Hello. So unfortunately, Beefies is closed and we have to find something else.
Are they like closed or
No, they're just closed on Mondays.
Oh.
Yeah, looks like the Shade Tree Saloon is just down the road.
I'll follow you there.
Alrighty.
Thank you, sir.
This is my buddy Wes. When you said saloon, this is like almost exactly what I pictured. I knew it wasn't going to be like an old-timey, like old Western saloon.
Like with the swinging doors and everything.
Right, yeah. I don't know, I really dig the vibe. They have a shuffleboard table. I'm still warming up, so.
There you go. These were practice rounds.
Right. Well, that was a nice lunch. It was great to hang out with my friend Wes, and now I'm gonna go for a walk. Tip number 5 is you want to create an environment where your habit can thrive. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he says you want to make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So making something obvious or easy is like setting an app that I want to use for counting my calories on my home row. So it's right there. As soon as I open my phone, it's obvious and I can click on it easily. Attractive is what the app does for me. It gives me a picture of how many calories I'm consuming before I eat my food. And then satisfying is getting to watch the numbers add up and getting to the end of the day and seeing that I'm under my limit. Anytime you can change or shape your environment to make your habit easier, you're just gonna be that much more successful. And so you just have to look around, look at what habit you're trying to build and ask yourself, how can I make this obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying? And now my car is about 100 or so yards back that way, so now I have to walk back. So just heading back through the wet grass. Tip number 6 is learn how habits work. One of the best things I did for myself was to actually spend some time researching and learning and hearing from experts about how habits actually work, how it works in the brain, the processes that work in the body that create our habits and why we work that way. Learning those things really created a lot of context for what I was experiencing, helped explain some of it, and gave me the tools that I needed to figure out how to best structure my environment in such a way that would help me be successful when it came to trying to build habits. There are 2 books I want to recommend, and the first one is one I've mentioned a few times already, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's really great. I can't recommend that one enough. And then the other one you want to check out is called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhig, and it's a really interesting look at how habits actually work in our brains. I can't stress enough how important it is to take the time, do your research, learn how habits work if you really want to be successful. Gotta be quiet because the little one's taking a nap. Shh. Actually, I don't have to be quiet because, parenting pro tip, we set up a box fan right next to where he takes a nap. So that drowns out all of the other noise in the house. I'm still gonna talk a little bit quiet. All right, you made it. This is it. Tip number 7. Thank you for sticking with me. The last tip is be kind to yourself. It's easy to beat ourselves up, to get discouraged, and to quit when we make mistakes and when we mess up, when we fall off the horse. One of the things that's been a benefit for me in my life is kind of this inherent attitude of, well, I can always get back up on the horse. Even if I fail, even if I take a break for a while, I can always try again. I want to read this quote to you from James Clear. He says, "Slipping up on your habits doesn't make you a failure, it makes you normal. What separates top performers from everyone else is that they get back on track quickly. Make sure you have a plan for when you fail." The last point I want to make on this tip is that it's okay to redefine success. Maybe you have a goal and the habit that you chose to build to reach that goal was working for you for a time, but then it no longer works or you learned a better way. Just because you committed to a habit doesn't mean that you have to stick with it if it no longer serves your goal. We have this tendency when we've committed to something to want to see it all the way through. And sometimes that works to our benefit, but every once in a while, it actually works against us. And it's okay when you recognize that to say, nope, I'm not gonna do that anymore. It's not about the habit. It's really about the goal that you set for yourself. It's about who you want to be. And as long as your habits are serving who you want to be, they're great habits. And those are the kind of habits you want to build. Those are my 7 tips for successfully building habits. I want to hear from you. What kind of habits are you trying to build? What are some things that you've done that have helped you be successful in building habits? Go ahead and write that down in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. I want to take a second here to thank Levi Allen, who started the Habits of Excellence Challenge at the beginning of this year, which was the inspiration for this video. I also want to thank Sean for helping me film today and being so gracious to be in front of the camera. Anything I've talked about in this video, whether it's apps, books, articles, I'm going to link below. You can check those out and maybe pick up some tools for your own journey toward building better habits. And again, if you have some tools that you use, some things that you recommend, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.